What's up, everyone? This is Wolfgang, aka the Dorkfish with Dorkfish Collection Reviews, and I am doing a versus review as requested on the SH Figuarts in-game Final Battle Thanos and the Mezco new release comic Thanos. We're about to get to it. Alright guys, I'm going to make this pretty quick, or as quick as I can. I am, as requested, reviewing the two Thanoses. You have the left-hand in-game Final Battle SH Figuarts Thanos, and on the right side, the new Mezco comic Thanos. It's a more modern take on Thanos. I can't tell you what storyline he's from. I can tell you he's more modern, obviously. But that's a no duh. So we're gonna jump into what we like about them, what we don't. So each one comes with 3 heads. I will tell you that if I am a head sculpt guy, in comparison, you get a smiling head for each, you get a growling head for each, you get a neutral head for each. So it's literally equal in that aspect. So the growling head for Thanos here, but then the comic, which is helmeted. Now I understand the reason for the way it's done based off the film with him. I would like to have seen done, and this is where I give points to, I don't know if I give points to Mezco, but I like the Mezco aspect. I love Thanos with the helmet. I'm just not a fan of unhelmeted Thanos. Grimace really does come to mind. So I would have loved for that helmet to be able to fit the heads there. And the problem is it can't, because underneath that helmet is just a faceplate. You could actually take older SH Figuarts Thanos faceplates and prop them underneath, but that head itself is not solid underneath, so you can't just put that helmet on any one of the figures or any one of the other heads, which kind of bothers me. I really wish you would have done that, whereas I don't feel the need for Thanos to not have a helmet on, so I give it to Mezco in this case, because I don't care to have Thanos without the helmet. If we're talking about accuracy, both nail it because of the film versus the comic. If we're talking about aesthetics as to what I like, which is personal choice, I'm going to take the Mezco on this one. So we looked at the growling heads. Neutral head here. As you can see, very, very well detailed. I love the detail on the face and in the helmet. And they did a wash on the face. It's light, very light, but it's there and it's very well done. Go back to that Grimace right quick too. I want you to see something that I didn't even think about until now, and that's the gum detail with the teeth. Because it did the wash over the gum detail and the teeth detail. It's so well done. So kudos to Mezco. If we're talking about aesthetics, both of these figures are very pleasing. But as far as comic accuracy, as far as comic aesthetics, you know, more, I would say, used to, not for the price now, but more achievably, you could get the Marvel Legends ones in this kind of outfit, which I have both variations, the Walmart and the standard Build-A-Figure, and neither one of them, I mean, honestly, in terms of looks, even pale, they don't pale in comparison. They're horrible in comparison, which is not to say Marvel Legends is horrible. I like the line, but it's Mezco, so they do a little bigger, do a little better. So smiling face, and this is where the smiling faces are different. I wish I would have got the grinning head with the SH Figuarts, but instead we get just a smirk. Whereas, and I have it on my Thanos here, this grin. Let me take the head off. It'll let me. Boom. Yeah. So this grin that is just amazing. I mean, the sculpt is fantastic. I am so happy with that. Yeah, so very, very happy with that. The Figuarts one. Let me just pop that off right quick. Ooh, so hard to get off. But yeah, this is more the neutral one. So actually, I take that back. I had the wrong head in hand. This one is more the smirking one. I wish they had the teeth. I'll be honest. I think back when I think of Thanos in the MCU, one of the best impressions that Thanos left was him coming out in the first Avengers and turning his head and smiling. So I think of that grin, and that's encapsulated very well in the Mezco. So neutral head, go again, neutral head, and that's what I talked about. Unfortunately, we can actually look at it. So you'll see the gap here, it splits. So there is the head here, front of the helmet. Taking the front of the helmet off, adjusting my lights right quick. Boom. So you've got the T cap, and in here you've got the ball pig cap. So if you look, unfortunately, it's half a head sculpt. I wish they would have just done a helmet that form-fitted over each head, that you could put, or just turn each head into a faceplate if you're going to do it that way. But that's whatever. So that is him. So I'm going to put back on the body and get him standing. Ankle. Boom. And then the neutral head from Mezco. Which, I mean, just, if I have to pick between the heads, I think that SH Figure Arts nailed the likeness of Josh Brolin, but I think that, honestly, Mezco just destroys in terms of comics. And why not? It's Mezco. For the price, for the line, they should. I'll be honest, I mean, who else is going to do it? But for the price line, who else should do it, you know? So that's just me. But we're going to get on to the other hands right quick. And this is where I like comparison. You go back and watch the movies. The Infinity Gauntlet that was made by Tony Stark was worn on the left hand. So we do get snapping hand. So we get the gauntlet that is attached to a ball pin that pops in. You have the snapping hand where he realizes, oh, I have no stones. You have the fisted gauntlet hand, which has the stones in it. Just before he went for the snap, while he was talking all that good jizz, you have, of course, what's already attached to him, the standard arm. There you go. Now my hand's on the way. Standard arm. So with the standard arm, you've got a couple different. This one can hold the blade, and you've got a pair of these that they hold the blade. So right here, you can do either or hand with that. You have a kind of action pose hand if he's grabbing a fist or something thrown at him, or he's picking something up or grabbing someone by the throat. You've got one for each side of that. And other than that, that's his hands and arms accessories. For the Mezco, we've got very similar, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, about the same. It's the same. So they actually offer equality in terms of, so you've got more of the hand pointed, and they're optional, or not optional, I should say they're bilateral in that case. So they've got that kind of pointing out a serial pose similar to a dark side pose I can think of, where he's, and I think it's New 52, where he's pointing out like that. You've got a clamped fist, or not clamped fist, but stylized grasping hand for each side. Same here. And the detail, and this is something I love, something that's missed on the figure arts, and I know why in terms of detail, but look at that. Look at the palm, the way the glove, just the textures, the metal textures, but particularly the palm. Look at that. They took the time, the extra mile, and all of these to create the wrinkles, but not just the wrinkles, create the threading and the detail for the outfit. So I absolutely adore and love that. This is the one that actually comes standard in the package, and you'll notice it actually has a standard peg. Yep, so you'll see the peg there, and it has this peg in here, and that peg is what links the arms, right? Okay, so then the one I actually have on him is the gauntlet arm, just because I was messing around doing some photos, which I'll prop up. And then the non-flexed or the non-grasped hand with the stones, which the stones are in the same fashion on the regular fisted hand. Excuse me. So in that you have your stones, which are fantastic. Now, here's the difference in the arm, and this is why the arm is so particular. You'll notice it's hollowed out with the gems being, and this is where Mezco exceeds very well, and SH could take, and most of any line could take a lesson from this. So I'm going to put him in the center. For those of you who don't already know, which is probably not many, you notice that and you'll go, what is that on his arm? So here's the gauntlet sleeve. Same thing on the inside of the gauntlet fist, right? But if you pop that arm off, which I'm going to do off screen because I'm busy. So this is the light right there. You'll see where you put the batteries in. These two prong parts that holds the hand to. Inside, you'll notice a switch right there, on off. Tough to get on and off. Give me 1 second. Boom. So you'll notice how bright that is. Now I'm going to pop that arm, and I'm going to let you see what that looks like on him. Actually, 1 second. Boom. Just be careful when you're putting it on. You can actually accidentally turn the hand off. It's a snug fit. Oh, yep, just a little bit of trouble there. Boom, get that hand on. Boom. Now you'll look and notice the gauntlet. So I'll put it right here. 1 second. So now you notice the gauntlet here, boom, is on. I'm going to turn off these lights so you can see it. See the gauntlet glowing. I'm going to turn off all my lights actually, just so you can see that. So now you see the gauntlet glowing. It is so cool. It is something that they did so well. I'm so happy with it. But yeah, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna take it off real quick so you can see the other hand. I mean, in terms of practicality, it's no different, but just for the sake of seeing it, because I like a glowing hand. Boom! So there is Thanos with a glowing functioning gauntlet, and you can actually slide the gear up in there. That stops that gap for the most part, but I mean, it's so well done. So the last things that we're going to talk about is, I mean, articulation we'll go over, and the first thing we'll go over is the figure arts, and then the last thing we'll go over is the Mezco. So there's two parts to the articulation, the armor feeding into it. So I'm going to tell you off tops, the figure arts is way better. I mean, there's no argument about it. I mean, yeah. So just boom. His head, he's got a rotation neck pin, so he's got rotation there. Boom. He can look very good at that. I mean, now I adjusted his armor in a way, that's just me and how I did my figure. I don't necessarily suggest you do it, but I adjusted in a way where the armor doesn't pop off, because when you get the figure brand new, this plate and his shoulder, and these arms pop apart and pop off, and I didn't like that. I hated that. So I adjusted it, made my own. Happy with. So when you do that, gotta be careful, because as far as up goes, really he doesn't have a lot of range up on the shoulders. You have these which move to expose the joints, but the problem is it doesn't fit in with the armor, and the armor itself creates an issue right now. So that's as far as that goes. I mean, you've got the regular stand. The elbows are pretty good. The wrists are pretty good. I'm not even going to go to a full articulation. Just know that he can crunch that far forward. About the knees, about that far back. Legs. Now, this is, he can get the big boot. I like that. He can get the big boot. He's pretty good about that. His knees, not bad at all. Meeting it really, really good. So you can get a good gym beam stand there if you want. As far as the splits goes, yeah, he can do splits pretty good. Not Thanos is doing the splits. Thigh cut. I mean, a lot of the normal stuff. No bicep swivel. He swivels at the elbow, right? Turning. You can get turn out of the ab crunch and out of the waist crunch, so that's not a big deal. You've got the ankle articulation, the ankle pegged like this, just so you can see that. See, it pops out. Got to be careful of that because it's all ball pegs, but at least it doesn't break. At least it doesn't snap off, which is nice. But you don't have a lot because he has armor on, so you're not going to get a lot of room. So that kind of is what it is. Not a whole lot of swivel either, or pivot, whatever you want to call it. Not a lot at all, right? I mean, as far as it goes, he's really, really well done. I am pleased with, and I know we need to talk about size right quick too, which we'll do in a second. But he's really well done. I'm quite happy with him. I think in terms of movie Thanos, he is my MCU Thanos. I've got the Diamond Select one. I've got the Marvel Legend one. I don't know if there's any other versions out there, not that I can think of. So I've got all the major versions, or at least the main versions that were released by different companies, and he's my favorite as far as the movie Thanos goes. I probably like the Mezco more. Now, if we talk about articulation, I mean, Mezco's is not that articulated. Something to know, there's a magnet in that, so you'll see the magnet here. Magnetizes to the body, holds pretty decently, but the body is heavy. I'm not sure. I think he's made of the same material that Darkseid was, so the body's heavy. But I mean, you've got pretty decent range. His head is kind of limited because of the armor there, but otherwise pretty good range. I mean, that's about far you're getting a T, not even a T-pose completely. You got single jointed elbows, which kind of pivot at the elbow, no bicep. This one's a little more, the gauntlet arm is more limited just because of how bulky the gauntlet is, so be aware of that. The wrists are pretty good. Ab crunch, not completely there. Turning, he can turn very well. Ab crunch, he's got very little. I mean, to be honest, leg out, he's not got the same front kick. He does have the bicep swivel, but leg out, yeah, he's not got the same kick in him that the movie one does. And knee bend, I mean, the thing is, he doesn't have the articulation that the figure arts or even the Legends have. So, I mean, even the Legends get a little more articulation. So that's something I would say that Mezco, if we had to talk about the one negative for that release, it's got to be, the biggest negative would have to be articulation. Like, he's not mobily sound or structurally good in that particular regard. So right quick, size comparison, obviously look at the two next to each other. I mean, the comic book Thanos dwarfs SHF, which is fine because if you look at SHF, like, here's Corvus Glaive. Let me get him in a standing position here, and this is the Sons of Thanos, or yeah, Children of Thanos, Sons of Thanos, Children of Thanos. I think it's Children of Thanos. Corvus Glaive. So, compared to the two, just because I want a big character to see in terms of big figures, I mean, here is the Build-A-Figure Killer Croc. Well, Collect and Connect DC. We talk about some of the others. So here is the Children of Thanos Colt Obsidian, which wasn't even his original name. Colt Obsidian is actually, so Colt Obsidian was actually the original name of the group. I can't remember what his name was. I'll have to go back and double check. But his name wasn't Colt Obsidian. That was made, or Obsidian Cole, I should say. That was renamed for the film. But originally, Obsidian Cole was the name of the group that served him in the comics. As I say, Corvus and all of them. And there was actually 5 members. But the 5th member was wiped and amalgamated into some of the other stuff that the other characters did. And then he was given a name, Obsidian Cole, which I'm not upset with because I actually like Obsidian Cole as a name. I think he's really well done. I've got to find my other ones, but here is now I can't think of her name, and I know her, and she is the wife actually in the comics of Glaive, and I can't think of her name at all. I should know this. Somebody will correct me and tell me her name. Somebody like, hey, you idiot, you're supposed to be a comic nerd. And just for shiggles, a couple of other characters. The Marvel Legends Bath Hulk, World War Hulk style Hulk from Ragnarok. If you look, he's actually about the same height, maybe from the angle, maybe cheating a little bit before I'm looking at. He's close to, or just a little taller than both of them. And then just to see what a standard 6-inch figure will look like next to them, here is my Mezco exclusive MDX Joker. So you can see what an MDX figure is going to look like next to him. I was doing some shoots with him, so that's more what closer to what a 6-inch is going to look like, our standard 6-inch. But yeah, so I mean, size-wise, I'm happy. I like Thanos overall. If I was to pick who was the better, that's a tough choice, honestly and frankly. I think both are good for their respective style. So as far as my comic Thanos goes, this will be my comic Thanos. He's gonna look good on the shelf, just in a minor pose. I've done some edited pictures, which I really like with him, and I think that he's gonna be very, 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 very good to those who like the comic Thanos. As far as the movie Thanos goes, SH Figuarts has nailed it, and I don't see anybody anytime soon beating it. I could be wrong, but that's just me. From my perspective, money-wise, it's just a matter of what you're looking for. If you're looking for articulation, you're looking for something that's going to move well and scale well, you probably want the SHF. But if you're looking for something that's really comic accurate, or it's really big and mean looking, so well done, you're going to want the Mezco. Or if you're just looking like me to collect both because you love the comics, then you can't go wrong with going ahead and getting both. That being said, I'm going to sign off. I am the Dorkfish. This is the Dorkfish Collection review. And thank you. Have a good evening, guys. Enjoy.